Hi everybody, this is Arkansas Tech Career Services and we're doing a brief overview of the Elevate program, especially for those faculty and staff that may be assigning it to students. We wanted to give you an overview of each of the assignments so that you know what is in there, and you are welcome to assign students to the whole program or just to certain portions of the program. So I am on the Career Services website for tech. It's just atu.edu/career up here. And for students to sign up for Elevate, they would go to this website and scroll down to the big Elevate area here. We have a video that they can watch to learn a little bit more about the program, but they're going to click on Find Out More. And there's a whole summary of the program here, which is open to the public. So as a faculty or staff member, you can go in here to refresh your memory on what we have in the Elevate curriculum. Keep in mind, this is a co-curricular program, so it is not for credit. Students are not technically graded on assignments. They're just tracked on what they have completed, and they receive email confirmations when they complete a whole, we call it a milestone or a module. We do not have specific admission requirements for the program, but we do have an application just so that students can indicate to us when they want to enroll. They have until they graduate to finish the program, so they do not lose their enrollment in the Blackboard classroom between semester terms. So all they do is go to this page and click here to apply. You'll notice the questions are pretty simple. I just need your name, your T number, your email and phone number in case we need to get a hold of you for something. And then they will indicate their classification and the college that they're in, as well as when they plan to graduate. Again, we do not use this information to weed out students. Everyone who applies that is a current student is admitted into the program. So when they are admitted, they receive an email from Career Services saying, congratulations, you're now a part of the Elevate program. Please log into Blackboard to view your Elevate classroom. And this is the Elevate classroom. This is the full title of the Elevate classroom. So if a student is added to Elevate, this is what they're going to see in Blackboard. Elevate, the Career Advancement Academy, and it's from the Norman Career Services organization. If students are telling you that they cannot find it and they've been added, make sure that they're looking at current courses, not just the courses under their current term. They need to go to current courses. So when you first log into Blackboard, that courses homepage where it says current courses, that's going to be where they can see Elevate. If they are in their current term, like summer or fall, Elevate will not show up because it rolls over from one semester to the next. So they need to be under current courses, and then go to Elevate, the Career Advancement Academy, and we've put it in all caps with the hopes that that will make it easier for the students to find. So this is the landing page, and it does give them some basic information about the program. We do not do mass incentives. If you have a whole class of students that are enrolled in the program, they're not going to get a bunch of prizes along the way, but they do get a certificate of completion at the end, a pad folio if they're willing to stop by the office to pick it up. And we announce to their faculty advisor, their department head, and their dean that they've completed the program, just to kind of honor them and their time. If you want to enroll a whole class in Elevate to complete a portion of the program, please send us the entire class roster if that is going to make your life easier, so that we can mass enroll the students instead of demanding each of them go in and apply one by one. We found that students that apply one at a time for a class assignment may wait until very late in the term to do that application process, and then they don't have the same window as everyone in the class to get the work done. So here in Blackboard are our 6 milestones or modules. They're just little content folders, and each of them have a couple of assignments for the students to complete. If you are a staff or faculty member and want to assign certain ones to students, they can enroll on their own. Or if you're running a Blackboard classroom of your own, please let Career Services know. We can add you as a teaching assistant in here so that you have access to the curriculum and can even borrow portions of it to add into your own Blackboard classroom. That's perfectly fine. If you choose to go that route, please just make sure that you're letting us know that you're doing that so that we can track for assessment purposes how many students are accessing or utilizing the curriculum. So here's milestone 1, self-assessment. We have a little video at the top of each milestone to tell students a little bit about what they're going to be working on. And then for this particular milestone, they have 2 assignments to complete. The first is to take 2 self-assessments. We give them a bunch of free options as well as StrengthsFinder, which costs a little bit of money, but some students may have taken it for a class, in which case they can use their results from a class or from another project for this. So they take screenshots of their results and just upload them into this assignment. That is their work. Just upload a screenshot of your results. And then the second portion of the self-assessment is a set of reflection questions where we ask them to talk about their results, and not just what it says about them, but what they agree with or don't agree with, because we think that the reflection portion with self-assessment really comes when we come to terms with what we know about ourselves, what we acknowledge, and what others may perceive. We do tell students that anytime they take a self-assessment, it's not a horoscope. It does not predict the future. So if you're working with students on selecting a major or narrowing down their career options, you can assign this module, but we would still highly encourage you to have them talk to someone about their results, not just take the test and treat it like it's predicting their future. So that's milestone 1. Milestone 2, the career action plan, is something I would highly encourage you to consider incorporating into classes, even if they're not career development focused courses, because it just helps students kind of stay focused on the big picture and after graduation, and how all of the steps they're taking now can help them move toward their goals after graduation. So again, we've got a video. The first assignment here is a career research activity where we have them look up these 5 pieces of information for not 1, but 3 specific career areas. And we've given them websites to do their research that are completely free and accessible to the public. But what we want is for students to start thinking about what a job looks like in some of those fields. They may have an idea of what they want to do or a picture they had in their head when they started college, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the idea is accurate or up to date, or the people that have told them this is a good idea know about that field. And so we want them to do some practical research about things like, why does this really interest you after you've read a little profile on what the job really entails? What kinds of skills are you going to need? How much education and how long is it going to take you to complete it? And also the outlook or availability of jobs, because obviously some fields are growing more than others, and the expected salary range in the state of Arkansas. Students will often Google salaries and they'll get national average data, and that's not accurate for a lot of them that plan on staying in state. So these websites we provided will give them those 5 pieces of information, and they're going to turn in those 5 pieces of information for all 3 career prospects that they've lined up for themselves. The second assignment is a career action plan. So they're going to take information from their self-assessment and from their career research activity and put it in this career action plan. It's just a Word document that they can download and fill out like a form. It's very simple and easy to read. But we're going to have them write out things like, where do they feel like they're most successful academically and what are the biggest challenges, but also environments and tasks. So we want a little self-awareness. And then we have them talk about their values, which is an assessment they can take in the first milestone. The career research information they compiled in that last assignment will go right in here under career research. They list the 3 career opportunities, and then they look back and say, okay, how are these values, these things that are important to me, lining up with these 3 career options I've selected? Again, we're not nailing them into a corner or telling them what they need to do for the rest of their lives, but we want them to think critically about that information. What kinds of hands-on experience can I gain? Some of them may already have experience, clinicals, practicum work, internships, job shadowing that they can put in here, but a lot haven't pursued that yet, and we want them to be thinking about what they need to do to prepare before graduation. And then they can pull from that career research assignment to write down how much training or how many years of education they're going to need for each. So again, very practical information. And down at the bottom, we have them do some SMART goals. And what we found is that the first time students write SMART goals, they have a very hard time meeting all 5 criteria in one goal. Making a goal specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound all at the same time may be a little much at first. So we have them write a separate goal for each criteria, and later in the program we will have them come back and write one goal that meets all 5 criteria. So that is the career action plan, and they will revisit this a couple of times in the course. So I would highly recommend this as an assignment. It's probably the most labor intensive of the things we have them doing in the curriculum, but it's because that career research and the career action plan are so crucial and helpful for them long term. And you'll notice while students did have information from their self-assessment milestone that they can put in there, they can answer the questions for the career action plan without doing the self-assessment milestone. So you can assign just milestone 2 if that's what you prefer. All right, milestone 3. We have them work on their resume and cover letter. Resumes and cover letters are not going away, but they will change over time. So we need students to be prepared to talk about themselves in whatever format makes the most sense for their field or industry. So we've got videos talking not about what makes a resume pretty, but about what types of content are going to be the most appealing or useful to them when they're applying to employers. And the cover letter is the same idea. Let's talk about how do we grab attention with content. So we give them videos to work on both of those things, and then we ask them to upload those documents in Handshake and request an email critique. Our typical turnaround time for email critiques is 1 to 2 business days, but if we do have a whole class assigned to do this, it typically can take 3 to 4 business days, sometimes up to a week, depending on the size of the student population all asking for this service at the same time. So for this milestone, they watch some videos about resumes and cover letters, they upload their information, and then once they get a review, they're gonna fix up their resume and cover letter based on our feedback and send it in here with those edits to get full credit for that 3rd milestone. So if you assign this milestone to students, they should have a finished product for you. It should not be a rough draft. It should be a draft that's already been at least somewhat polished, especially if they've actually read through the advice that we've given in that review. All right, milestone 4, these are practice interviews. We use the big interview software to do this just because our staff is limited, but that means that you can use the big interview software to do this with students through Elevate or on your own. Basically, we've got a video about some basic interview tips here, and then we walk them through how to use the big interview software. If you would like to be added as a TA in this class so that you can also go through this program with the students or reflect back on the instructions later if you need to, or borrow the content for your own Blackboard classroom, feel free. This is a tutorial of how Big Interview as a software works and how to record yourself answering interview questions. Big Interview basically has a recording of someone asking questions to the student, and it even has kind of a roulette setting so that the students don't know which question is coming next. And then they record themselves on a webcam answering those questions, and they can email their recordings to someone. So we ask that they email the recordings to our office, and then we send them an email critique to tell them how they can do better. And then they do a second round of interview questions after they receive a review from us. That's the whole milestone. And then they answer some reflection questions on what they learned, what they would do different, what they would want to prepare for a real interview. Again, if you don't want to use Elevate, but you think Big Interview as a tool would be useful for your classroom, it is something that's available through Career Services, and feel free to reach out to our office so we can give you a more thorough walkthrough of that software. Number 5 is networking. We've got some videos here on career fairs, before and after, and professional dress. And then the actual assignment is a little bit more complicated just because they have a couple of steps to follow. The first is to fill out a job search tracking log. This is an Excel spreadsheet they can download that basically has them try to keep track of the professional contacts they've made. So who may they have met somewhere? It could have been a conference, a career fair, a professional that spoke in their classroom for the day, or a session they sat in on somewhere. It does not necessarily have to be a career fair. And it does not necessarily have to be something that happens this semester. They can reflect on contacts they've made in past semesters as well. So, name of the company, name of the person they met and their title, where did they meet? And then there's also some boxes they can check or add information in here if they're applying for a job about the position title. Did they give someone a resume already? When would the position start? Do we know what the salary range is? This activity is really about getting them in the practice of thinking about, how do I keep track of my job search process? Because we don't want to be picking up the phone when we get a call for an interview and not knowing what job you applied for. So we have them fill that out, and you'll notice there are remote options here. We give them ideas for what they can do, especially if they're taking classes online and not attending a lot of events and things on campus like career fairs. The second portion for this milestone is a follow-up. We ask that they send us screenshots of follow-up with 3 professionals. And some students struggle a little bit with this because they don't want to bother professionals, especially if they're not looking for work right now. So we're trying to challenge them to think in terms of writing a thank you note, or asking for advice, even if they're not in a place where they're looking for a job right now. But we want them to get comfortable reaching out to professionals that may be able to help them in the future. That's what networking is. And students who tell us that they've been assigned portions of Elevate, especially the networking milestone, we do require that they do the follow-up even if they're not looking for work right now, because there's nothing wrong with creating more contacts for the future. They do have a reflection assignment here where they answer some quick quiz questions about what they learned. And then they update the career action plan. So they're going to go back into the career action plan they uploaded in Milestone 2, read over the information that they put in there, and then just make small edits based on the information that they've learned from the networking activities. So they may have come in contact with someone from the field, and that has changed their perspective on which type of employment they want to pursue, or how they might want to go about their training or their education, or what goals they think are reasonable. So we want them to make those updates. And we want them to read through those goals at the end and update them based on that information as well. So that's Milestone 5. And Milestone 6 is experiential learning. Many of you all, especially our faculty, have students that are required to do experiential learning activities for their program anyway, an internship, clinicals, a practicum. We do not require that they go and seek it on their own just because we want them to. If they have to do it for a course, we'll absolutely count that. But we have given students a list of things that are considered experiential learning to give them some ideas, because sometimes we need to help them stretch outside of the box for their thinking on what they're learning and how they're learning that information. So basically, we have them find some kind of experiential learning activity or identify one that they've done in the past, and then they write a 1 full-page essay on their experience where they describe the experience itself, and then they tell us what they gained from it or what they learned that's going to influence their future goals. We do require that they write an entire page because we don't want just a summary of the experience. We want learning outcomes. We want some reflection there. And then they do have some reflection questions to answer here as well, to talk about how their time in the field, in whatever environment they chose, may influence their goals also. And then to summarize everything, they go back to their career action plan a second time, and they write that 6th goal. They go back through, they update their SMART goals if they have other things they need to change after having that experiential learning opportunity. And then right here, they create a goal number 6 that meets all 5 of the SMART goals requirements. So instead of having a specific and a measurable and an action-oriented goal, they're going to write one goal that meets all of those criteria at the bottom and turn it in one more time. So that is the Elevate program. And I will also show you what we send students. So when we write students a confirmation email, this is what you will see them forward to you. First, they'll receive a congratulations email that says you're now in the program, here's how you access it. and go ahead and get into Handshake as well, because they'll be using Handshake for the program. If in turn they complete the program, they will receive another congratulations email that lists all of the milestones they've completed. Along the way, they will receive confirmation emails from us as well that have a list of the milestones they have completed. So if they're forwarding you emails to give proof of their work, make sure that when you're checking, you're looking to see which milestones they have listed, because they may have a block of text here, but it doesn't include all of them. They may have one that's missing. And finally, when students have completed the program, if you are a professor that assigned it to them, or if you're a faculty advisor, department head, or dean, this is the email that you will receive on behalf of Career Services to praise the students' work. So it'll give you a summary of all the work they've done if they complete the whole program, and the names of the students and the academic programs that they're in. And you're welcome to send that along to other stakeholders that you think would be a great encouragement to the students and help them just really celebrate their efforts. The last thing you should know is that we're always growing and changing. So if you would like to be added to this classroom so you can play around a little bit more or have questions, feel free. We are in the process of adding another milestone at the moment, and we will send out an announcement when that one's complete. That's a little bit more of life skills, financial literacy, that kind of stuff. But for now, these are the 6 that are available, and please contact Career Services if there's something specific we can do to help you and your class prepare for the future. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you have a great day.